I came home for Christmas to an empty house. Only Grandma sat there eating leftovers. You know that feeling when your entire future, something you've bled and sweated for, just vanishes in a puff of smoke? Now imagine that smoke being a Caribbean cruise and the people who lit the match, your own family. That's exactly how I felt when I walked into my quiet Christmas home, expecting warmth and cheer, and instead found the most gut-wrenching, casually cruel note taped to my refrigerator. The story begins: my name is Rosalind and I was 28, a nursing student agonizingly close. Just 3 months from graduation. I'd driven 6 hours home for Christmas, my car packed to the brim with carefully chosen, beautifully wrapped gifts. But the moment I pulled into the driveway, a cold dread crept in. The house was eerily quiet, dark. No twinkling lights, no wreath on the door, no familiar chaos inside. Just Grandma Eleanor in the kitchen, eating microwave turkey. No decorations. Nothing. Then I saw it. Taped to the fridge, a hastily scrawled note. It hit me like a physical blow. Spend your $10,000 loan on a family Caribbean cruise. Take care of Grandma back in 4 days. Love you. I stood there reeling, the words swimming before my eyes. Grandma looked at me, her 82-year-old face a mask of something I couldn't quite decipher: shame? Anger? Then in a voice that was surprisingly calm and steady she said, "We will fix this." All I could do was nod. For days later they were begging. See, I grew up in Springfield, Missouri, in what you'd call a middle-class family. My dad, Harold, was in sales, which meant our finances were a constant roller coaster. Some months we lived comfortably, others we scraped by, barely making ends meet. My mom, Diane, worked part-time at a dental office, but let's just say her spending habits always outpaced her income. Then there was my older brother Jacob, my younger sister Olivia, and of course Grandma Eleanor, who moved in after Grandpa died when I was 10. Grandma was our anchor. In our financially chaotic home, where my parents rode emotional and financial roller coasters, Eleanor was a rock. Calm, practical, she taught me the basics of budgeting, saving, and planning for those inevitable rainy days. Lessons my parents just never seemed to absorb, no matter how hard she tried to guide them. Our bond was special. On nights when Mom and Dad were locked in another heated argument about money, I'd slip into her converted den bedroom. She'd tell me stories, help me with homework, or simply hold me. "You have a good head on your shoulders, Rosie," she'd always say. "You are going to break this cycle." And I really tried. After high school, I got into nursing school in Chicago. I worked multiple jobs to support myself. Waiting tables at dawn, library shifts in the afternoons, and weekend nursing assistant gigs at a retirement home. Every single penny counted. I juggled tuition, rent for a tiny studio, textbooks, and basic necessities. I'd avoided debt for nearly 4 years, a huge accomplishment. This $10,000 student loan, though, was different. It was for my final semester, covering clinical rotations and certification exams. These final requirements were impossible to fund from my jobs alone. This loan wasn't just money. It was my finish line, the final financial hurdle before I became a registered nurse with a stable income, ready to finally truly break free. But my family, bless their hearts, had a long history of financial irresponsibility that often spilled over into my carefully managed life. Dad once borrowed my first car. Full story on the channel. Link below. Click now and watch what happened next.